The next morning, we decided to go to Biggs International to talk to employees about Alan, Jenny Biggs, and their relationship. We also hoped to find out more about Mr. Biggs and what impressed him so much about Luke. One key question lingered in my mind. Would Jenny Biggs keep her last name when she marries Luke? Did she really want her name to become Jenny Janny?
Mrs. Biggs? She's such a neat lady. She could run this company, you know.
Really?
Really, yes. I mean, why, once during the holidays, she and Jenny, they wrapped our cubicles with wrapping paper. Isn't that creative?
Did you think that Alan was attracted to Jenny?
Oh, yes. Ever since she danced with him at the Christmas party, he had a thing for her.
She danced with him?
Yep.
Where was Luke?
Where else? Having drinks with Mr. Biggs.
I'm gonna let you in on a little something.
Okay.
I think Mrs. Biggs had a thing for Luke.
Mrs. Biggs?
Yep. I think she had Alan kill her husband for her, and I heard a rumor in the office that said that she's going to tell Luke next month that she's in love with him.
Really?
Yeah. I think she's gonna do it on Jerry Springer.
I can never figure out that Jenny chick. She's like a lot of girls today. She's confused.
What do you mean?
Well, there's all this talk about her and Luke and how Alan was trying to ruin their relationship. But she wasn't antisocial toward him at all. She obviously liked the attention. Matter of fact, she's probably playing them both.
No, I doubt that.
Well, you obviously don't have a lot of experience with the women, do you?
Mr. Albert, if you'll just settle down, this will be over in about 5 minutes.
You don't understand. I think that you guys have captured the wrong man.
What?
I can't talk about this now. There's too much at risk. Meet me back here tonight at around 7 p.m. Meet me in the parking lot and I'll let you guys in. I need some more water.
7 p.m. Mr. Albert met us outside. Since he was willing to give us some information that we might not know, we rewarded him with a 6-pack of bottled water with straws.
You see, the company was in some legal trouble. We're involved in some pretty lengthy depositions. And let's just say that Mr. Biggs took some financial risks that didn't pay off. And, well, we were hit pretty hard last year.
And how do you know all this?
I'm the vice president here. Technically, I should be taking over Mr. Biggs's place. But no. Now I learned that Luke is slated for that position. I've dedicated 15 years of my life to this company to become the president. And right when I think that I have a chance to move up to the top, sad as the circumstances are, I get shafted. Anyways, I was involved in some of those depositions, and I'm a little nervous. And I don't want to talk about the company now.
Well, why did you bring us here?
Well, I just think that you guys might have made an arrest a little too quick.
So you don't think Alan did it?
No, I didn't say that. I worry about some of the other members of the Biggs' family. I mean, Mr. Biggs was in a pretty bad position, where he could have practically lost everything. His only out, in order to avoid hitting rock bottom, was to sell the company.
Take the money and run.
Yeah, that's what I was under the impression that he was going to do. And then I think Mrs. Biggs stepped into the picture. She didn't want the company sold. She didn't want the family name to take such a hit. I mean, before all this happened, we weren't doing bad. But she had a lot riding on it. She wanted Luke to take over the company and marry Jenny. Now, this is a woman that wasn't very wealthy before she married Mr. Biggs. And I think with this situation, she panicked.
So you think Mrs. Biggs?
No, I'm not pointing fingers. I don't know what to think. But I do think that behind that sweet demeanor, there's a dark side to Mrs. Biggs.
Well, what about the story regarding Alan and Jenny? We understand that Alan was obsessed with Jenny and was told to stay away from her?
Yeah, and then he snapped.
Well, that conniving little priss didn't help matters.
What do you mean?
Well, she flirted with him.
Well, we just heard she was nice to him.
Nice. I'll tell you some of the things that I saw, and I'll let you figure it out for yourself.
Okay.
Somebody's here.
Forget about that and just tell us about Jenny.
I can't. Would you guys please just go see if it's the janitor or something? If you do that, I promise I'll tell you everything I know.
All right. But don't go anywhere.
I won't. I'll be right here.
You see that?
What?
Jenny's got a TV and VCR in our office. No.
Great. We shouldn't have left them alone.
Who could have done it? There's nobody in sight.
What are you two doing here?
I think it's best that you two don't go in there.
Don't tell us what to do in our building.
What is going on here?
Jenny, I think that...
Don't call me that. You don't know me. Call me Miss Biggs.
Yes, ma'am. Jenny.
Oh, wait.
Mother, is that Mr. Albert?
Why do you think the chief needs to see us?
I don't know, but I got a hunch it has to do with what happened last night.
Well, maybe this is going to be our case after all. We'll no longer have to do it in secret. Do you think he'll be upset?
No, not if we handle it right. I figure once we tell him what we know, the rest shouldn't matter.
Forgive me for saying this, Chief Hudson, but I'm a little disturbed to find out you did not know these gentlemen were on the case.
It's not really that, ma'am. They're good cops when they're not brain dead. They were probably following a lead they got from somewhere. They're not planning on reopening the case.
Oh, but they were. They were there last night. My Jenny was quite shaken up over the whole thing.
I understand, ma'am.
Yeah, if he only knew that Jenny would get shaken up if someone blew their nose in front of her.
Last few months have been rough for us, Chief Hudson. Our family has faced some hard challenges. My late husband's company is facing financial difficulties. We've had to come to terms with his death, and now someone else has been murdered in the office.
And this time, nobody can blame Alan.
We are investigating that case.
Thank you. I really appreciate what you men do. I really do. But Mr. Scott and Mr. Stingray do not make me feel safe. They were involved in a case that was closed. And now they're witnesses to a murder that might well have happened as a result.
Yes, I understand that. And they won't be doing anything in regards to this case.
Chief,
Carl, there's no discussion here. Mrs. Biggs is right.
I know. But since we took the initiative to look into this, I think there could be more to the original case.
That is not an issue in this office. What is an issue is how sensitive a situation this is. I think taking you guys off the case allows us to protect and to serve the Biggs family in a more ethical fashion.
Ethical?
You got something to say, Stingray?
No, considering we're now off this case, guess not, Chief.
Will you guys excuse us?
Thank you, Chief Hudson.
Just doing my job, man.
9 p.m. It was a quiet night in the office. I don't know why I was still there. But I guess the Biggs case was still on my mind. But why? Was it because of the murder last night? Was it because I did not trust Mrs. Biggs and that charming daughter of hers? Maybe Carl has me worried. He said that the truth would come out eventually, And that if we did find out years from now that Alan didn't do it, the guilt would hit us like a test crash. And we'd be the crash test dummies. There's something like that. But just when I was ready to call it a night, I was reminded of my motivation to pursue this case. This is Stingray.
You haven't forgotten about me, have you?
How could I forget about you, Madeline?
Good. Meet me at the Hideaway in a half hour. I will be the desperate woman in the long dress.
I know what you're thinking. You must think that I'm a sucker for a beautiful woman. I don't think so. Okay, maybe I am. So what? She was a desperate woman, and I was her prey. And I liked being her prey.
Every breath of you, I was losing me. No concern for who I was or who I used to be. Never thought I'd find.
It's just the kind of place you would hope to meet someone like Madeline. It was classy, yet intoxicating. Just like her. The singer on stage had everyone's attention, especially mine. I admire a lady that knows how to entertain. Her music made me forget Madeline and the Biggs case for a moment. Then I began thinking about the time I attempted to sing. That's right, I sang on stage once. It was a long time ago. As usual, I was trying to impress a girl. However, getting up in that karaoke bar and singing Captain and Tennille's Muskrat Love did not go over well with the audience or her. I don't like to think about it.
This is from the lady that is waiting for you on the porch.
I asked the waiter if she was a desperate woman in a long dress that was on the prowl. He gave me a look like those audience members in the karaoke bar during my singing debut. I walked into the patio. When I saw her, she had her back to me. But just her presence made my heart sink like it was surrounded by quicksand. I remembered the way she greeted me last time. I almost wanted her to speak first again, to hear what she said this time. She was yakking like she swallowed a bowling ball. Obviously, not everything about this night was going to be the way I expected. Kind of like the night I sang Muskrat Love. Can I get you some water?
Thank you, Mr. Stingray, but that won't be necessary.
Now that has to be one of the freakiest and sexiest things I've ever seen a woman do.
I just wanted to check on you.
Check on me?
Yes. I know the kind of risk you are taking for me, but I know you're the kind of man that can handle that risk, right?
Miss Madeline, I think you should know that...
When I heard that another person had been killed at the Biggs office, I was terrified. But I was relieved when I found out it wasn't you.
Now I wish I drank whatever she ordered me before I came in here. We need to talk.
About?
Mrs. Biggs is making sure I stay off the case.
Is she? And is she succeeding?
Well, I think...
I doubt she is. She must know what I know. She must know that you're about to find out the truth, and that you're the kind of man that could ruin her little plan.
What do you mean?
Well, let's face it. Her husband was in legal trouble. They could have lost their big bucks. Now that he's dead, and my brother's in jail, she no longer has to worry about that.
You saying Mrs. Biggs killed her husband?
I'm saying you must be doing something right. You are doing something right, Mr. Stingray. A desperate woman like me doesn't stand a chance without you.
She has practically made me forget all my reasons for walking away from the case. How does she do it? Must be something she's born with.
Don't let her come between you and your case. Between my brother and justice. Between you and me.
Oh, this is getting good.
Don't give up, Mr. Stingray. You'll be very glad you didn't.
She wants to kiss me. And who am I to stop her?
You'll be very, very glad.
She then disappeared like a ghost in the night. The room was empty, like a movie theater in the middle of a Tom Green film. And I was the only one still there. Sounds miserable, doesn't it? The only thing I could do was listen to the singer on the stage and wonder. Wonder how I was going to solve this case. Wonder how I would explain it to the chief if I get caught. And above all, how I didn't get a kiss from her tonight. It boggles the mind. 3 p.m. It had been a crappy morning. Carl and I had an argument about the case again. I told him I was going to look into the case with or without him. He's my partner, so I know he won't tell the chief. But I knew my time was short before the chief started wondering why we were not together. I decided to take out my frustration on Luke at the gun club. No, I don't plan on shooting him, but I do plan on grilling him a little. I guess I don't have to worry about him shooting me.
Paul.
Well, and hitting me anyway. Don't you wish they could catapult watermelons instead? Be a lot easier to hit, right?
What are you doing here? Paul.
Maybe if you tried a rocket launcher.
Can I help you with something?
Oh, maybe. How you holding up?
Holding up?
Well, I mean your boss, who I assume you had a good relationship with, was murdered. One of your future employees was just killed, and your girlfriend was romantically involved with the guy they arrested while she was seeing you.
What? She was not. He was obsessed with her.
Oh, of course. Well, let me ask you this. Do you believe that the employees at Biggs International are credible people?
Of course. Why?
Well, many of them say that Jenny was flirtatious when Alan was around.
Really? And when would they have had time to pay so much attention?
Well, how about the company Christmas party when she danced with him?
She never danced with Alan.
Oh, yes, she did. According to your credible staff, you were chatting with Mr. Biggs at the time. Are they lying, Luke?
Look, it's Mr. Janey to you, okay? You don't know me well enough to call me Luke. And may I ask you, Mr.
Stingray. Officer Stingray.
What are you doing here? I thought you were supposed to be off the case.
Oh, I am off the case. Maybe I belong to this club, and I come here for practice. I saw you, and I thought I'd come over and see how things are going.
You belong here. I've never seen you.
Well, I don't need much practice.
Well, I see. Well, I'm fine. Thank you.
Good. If I were you, I'd keep my eye on that flirtatious woman of yours.
Look, she was not ever interested in him. Never was, never will. You want more credible proof than that, huh? Why don't you go visit Alan and ask him how many times my flirtatious girlfriend has visited him or contacted him?
It's not that important to me. If it's all right with you, it's all right with me.
Well, like I said, sir, I'm fine. As long as there are no people in my way.
Well, I'll just get out of your way then, Mr. Janey.
Now, to spend more time out here practicing versus snooping around in other people's business that doesn't concern you. Pull!
Like I said, Mr. Janey, I don't need much practice.
Pull!